I'd like to, of course, welcome everybody. Hi, Fran. We're all waving to you.
Hi, Fran.
Anyway, so first of all, I'm going to start off with the acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional land of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which is represented by the communities of Saugeen First Nation and Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation. We also think of the Métis Nation of Ontario, whose history and people are well represented in Bruce and Grey counties. I just want to let everybody know that I have not received any regrets from any trustee this evening. So I'm going to move right to the approval of the agenda, that the agenda for the special regular meeting of the board for July 23rd, 2020 be approved as printed. Can I have a mover for that, please? And a seconder. And so I see Jane, and I didn't get to, and I guess Katie. So all in favor? Excellent. That's been approved. Thank you very much. Next, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest of the, I guess, the only agenda item this evening? Okay, I see none. And then we're going to move to the 2020-2021 school calendar for elementary and secondary. And I would like, first of all, to invite the Director of Education, Lori Wilder, to speak to the report. But before she does, I'm going to put the motion on the floor so she has something to speak to. That the Blue Water District School Board approved the amended 2020-2021 draft elementary and secondary school year calendars for submission to the Ministry of Education. Can I have a mover for that and also a seconder? So Marilyn and Tracy Lynn. So thank you, and a welcome Director Wilder.
Thank you very much, Chair Johnstone. It's really nice to see everybody's face, if I can just begin by saying that. It's just nice for us to get together, although really unprecedented that we get together and see each other's wonderful faces in the summertime. So it's a nice treat. You may recall back when it wasn't so lovely and warm out back in middle of February, the trustees approved a draft school year calendar. Since that time, and the calendar was submitted to the minister or the Ministry of Education, and they didn't send back any approvals to any of the boards. And we knew that something was coming. And sure enough, at the very end of June, we received a memo from the Minister of Education providing further guidance and deadlines for the calendar submissions and some recommendations. Those recommendations were that school boards start the school year with 3 professional activity days. And so we originally on our draft calendar had proposed that we would have staff back on September 2nd and September 3rd. That's Wednesday and Thursday. And the students would be back on September 8th. So with this recommendation of, so we had 2. So with the recommendation from the ministry to have 3, what we are recommending now is to have our professional activity days on September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And to do so, we would have to remove one of the originally scheduled PA days, which was on April 23rd. So we would take it out and place it on September 1st. Because we're starting a day early as well with staff, we would then end the year by 1 day early, because we have to make sure that we only have 194 school days, and as well we have to even out the semesters, which we've done with the proposal in front of you. You will see with your attachments we have a draft elementary calendar and a draft secondary calendar for you. And the ministry still is deciding what will be covered in those professional activity days in September. We had a teleconference, and they are certainly looking at health and safety, which fits well with our reopening plans and how we recognize that there has to be a focus on health and safety. And they are also talking about the mental health and wellness of our staff and students. So I think that they're going to be suggesting some training in that regard. As well, we have the math curriculum, the new elementary math curriculum. So we know that there'll be lots of things to focus on, as well as just the fact getting, depending on the model that the ministry suggests in early August for our reopening, there will be lots of things that we can focus on early on in September when we're back. So we're hopeful you've had a chance to look at the draft elementary and secondary calendars, and I'm open for any questions.
So Katie, go ahead, and you're unmute.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, thank you, Director Wilder, for the presentation and making everything clear, because I know the first time I looked at it, I was going, I don't see the changes, so thank you. I really want to thank you for having students go back on the 8th, because I know some school boards are differing from that, and I really appreciate that as a parent. And semi-serious question that just looking at all the things that really do need to be covered, is 3 PA days enough before sending everyone back? Thank you.
Through the chair, I would say that 3 days is probably not enough. I think too, just having staff getting into the building and feeling comfortable again, because they've been out for quite some time. I think that is going to take some time as well. We did chat with our union partners around this as well, and I should have mentioned too, with our coterminous boards, that includes Bruce Grey Catholic and the French Catholic. So we have to ensure that we have consistent calendars here in Grey and Bruce counties. So there was not a conversation about going to more professional activity days, and I would expect that the 3 days is probably enough for folks, because it is ending their summers a little bit early as well by that 1 day.
Is there any further questions or comments? I just have a comment, and it has to do with Katie's question. It isn't also the ministry offering webinars this summer to teachers? So there's another piece of some educational pieces that they can, get some more education themselves. And I've heard that there has been quite a few teachers that have taken up on those webinars. So I have no idea about our board, and I have no idea if, so the question would be, Director Wilder, would we know if, what teachers actually participate in those webinars this summer?
Thanks, Chair Johnstone. You are absolutely correct. In terms of the math curriculum especially, they have offered for the elementary teachers these webinars, and we don't have access to the information as to who is signing up, because it's being offered by the ministry. But I'm hopeful, and I suspect too that there is a good uptake. We have many interested staff who want to do their best to be prepared for September, and anything that they can do, they will be doing, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you. And Trustee Thompson.
I just want to, I think it's important that we took the time to have this special board meeting, because there's an opportunity to publicize that there are changes to the calendar for next year. It's so much uncertainty that's floating around in terms of what school will look like. And I appreciate Trustee Lutz's comments. I think the more we can have conversation about what's going to be happening as we move forward, the better, because there is a lot of uncertainty. So thank you very much for your input.
Thank you. Is there any further questions or comments concerning to do with the one agenda item? So I see none. I'm just going to read it. And it was passed, and you know what? I didn't write it down. So who were the two people who I said, moved it first and second? So it's Tracy and And was it you, Fran? Marilyn, right. Thanks, Marilyn.
I think.
Right.
Marilyn.
Okay, that the Blue Water District School Board approved the amended 2020-2021 draft elementary and secondary school year calendars for submission to the Ministry of Education. All in favor, you can raise your hands. And that is carried unanimously. Okay, so I'm going to move to adjournment. Thank you very much, everybody, for making time for our very short meeting this evening. So I will, that the Blue Water District School Board adjourn at 7:11 p.m. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Trustee Dawson, and I just missed in Marilyn again. I missed whoever the other person was. Sorry about that. All in favor? And that's also carried in. Before you get off, just to let you know, we're going to be having a special meeting of the board next week on Tuesday. It's a committee of the whole, and it has to do with all the questions that we have all around opening schools. So the notice is coming out tomorrow morning, but I just wanted to give you the heads up tonight because I know that we have all been, wondering, of course. They'll be bringing all sorts of information forward. Of course, it might all change when Minister Lecce makes his announcement on August 4th. But until then, and it'll be 7 p.m., Tracy. And yeah, 7 p.m., Jennifer. And thank you very much. Good evening. Good
See
night.
you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Safe
Thank
home.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
safe home.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night, thank you.